Hi, got another bulb that I'm going to put up for you to see. Not quite as old as that rough service lamp, but nevertheless it's a few years old. You can tell by the way they were wrapped. In the old days, that's the way lamps were wrapped. They were in this paper and a corrugated way of wrapping them up. Anyway, the details are on there. You can just see that. It's 100 volts and 100 watt pearl Edison screw coil. There's nothing about wartime saving, so that takes us out of that part of the age. I would say possibly 60s, 70s. I'm surmising again. Now, looking at the etch, this is after it had changed from when GEC was written on the top, where it says made in. That was where it used to say GEC or GEC patent. So this is a little bit younger than that. It's got the codes on there, which, as you know, I'm no good at deciphering those, but I will give them to you. It's 2876. That's this one at the top. So I'm shining a light. There we are. 2876. The one at the bottom, there isn't one at the bottom. That's the only code that's on this one. It's a nice clear etch. I wish they were always like that. Obviously 100 volts, 100 watt, coil England. What is fairly remarkable is the size. For 100 watt, that is quite a large envelope. Today, they'd be silly little things. But in those days they did make a good product, and the products were well made. What is also interesting, let's see if I can show it to you. I've always shouted about a fuse where you can see in there the two feed wires go in. Well, in this case, I'll show it to you. I don't know if I can, trying to. Don't know if you can see it, but the wire on the left hand side actually goes through a loose glass tube. The tube is the wire is inserted obviously through the tube. It's not sealed at all, it's just a loose tube, and the other wire hasn't got a tube. Both wires are quite thin, so I think that would probably act as a fuse. There's the cap or base, good Edison screw. It's never been used. I don't think it's ever been out of the box. I possibly picked this up from that dealer that went out of business in the 80s. I'm not too sure. Let's have a look, see if we can see the filament. There's the filament. It's got one support and it's coil. We will light it up, not full brightness, but we will. Be interested. No, it won't. Yes, it will. This is 100 volts at 100 watt, which means when it's functioning properly, it will be 1 amp. Now let's have a little look. I can probably see what happens to that little device, but obviously I'll have to turn off that light so it goes to 0, and we can't see it, but we might see it when I've screwed in the lamp. Now the variac is at 0, so we're not going to blow the bulb. We'll wind it up slowly. Coming a light. Now be careful I don't push it up too high. It's 100 volts, so 100 volts is there. There's 100 volts, and we're reading, well, that's not right, we're reading 0.3 amp. Let's see if I've done it right. Yep, we're reading 0.3 amp. In actual fact, I think you'll find it should be 1 amp. So that shows you how accurate these things are. Volts. Yeah, volts. Hold on, volts 240. And that's not what I'm pushing in the lamp. I'm pushing 100 volts. So I don't know. It might be because I'm using that variac. You can see as I wind the variac off, so here it was on maximum 100 volts, it was 0.38, almost 0.4, it's nearly half an amp. Turn it around and we slowly wind it down, and obviously as you go lower it goes off. I will turn on the little light. Now, why that didn't show 1 amp, I don't know. I know someone that will probably know. Alec, can you help us out on that one? It definitely showed less than 1, and to my mind it should have shown 1 amp. I'm blooming sure I've done my maths right. I know I'm not very good at maths, in fact I'm terrible at maths, and I'll admit it, being number blind, but 100 over another 100 equals 1. At least it was when I was at school, so I don't know what went wrong there. Anyhow, let's get back to the lamp. It's much more interesting than blinking maths. I never liked maths, I must admit. Held me back though, a lot of things. But not to worry. There's the lamp itself, to give you an idea of the size. Very well made lamp, and I'm about to upload it so you can all have a little look at it. Once again, thanks for watching. Any comments please make. And I say, I'm still pondering why that didn't show 1 amp, but it didn't. Anyhow, thanks again. There must be an answer there somewhere. Maybe it's just a cheap old instrument. But it's definitely a 100 watt lamp, I've checked it. So once again, thanks again, and we'll have a little look and see what else I'm going to put up. Thanks again. Thank you.